there's been this idea that it's the talking about it that's the problem. It makes everyone uncomfortable, puts everyone on edge. And I think it's because we've got this idea that when someone expresses a difficult emotion, we have to fix it, we have to end it quickly. But actually, I could say, I'm feeling sad today, and no one has to do anything about it. I've just shared it. Yeah. And actually, when you share it and you take away that sort of power, what if anyone knows that I'm sad or worried or overwhelmed or whatever it might be, then a lot of the tension and the difficultness of that emotion just sort of melts away.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Big Chat. As you will know from last week's episode, we are going to be talking to lots of different inspirational people about to do with mental health issues and well-being. I prefer to say well-being, actually. I think that sits better for me. I'm Coco, your host of The Big Chat, and I had an absolute gift given to me before Christmas this year. No, it wasn't from Santa, but it was rather wonderful. The Big Chat was very proud to sponsor the Panto goodie bags for Beauty and the Beast, which was done by Wicked Productions. Tom Swift, our commentator of the Soapbox each year. And so the Soapbox and the Big Chat actually sponsored anyone that went to the Panto. I'm sorry if you saw my face on the screen that big. I would not want to see that. But we put these bags together, and we really wanted to, because they were supporting the Mind charity, we really wanted to put some thought, or I wanted to put some thought into what went into those bags. And years ago, I worked on an amazing project with Comic Relief, where we produced a book that was just beautiful. And we did a series of books by the late Annabel Nelson, who was Alexander McQueen's muse. She's sadly no longer with us, but she'd written some really amazing books about mental health quite a long time ago. There's one called Angry Me and Messy Me, and they were really focusing on children, how they handle their emotions. And this is going back about 10 years. A lovely lady called Holly Jarvis, who was running Fat Fox Books at the time. And I'd spoken to Holly, and there weren't enough books. So I was kind of digging around and doing my sleuth-like work. And I came across this amazing author, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, it literally was, I'm obsessed with stars, and the book, we wanted to have it for children, and the book that popped up was You're a Star. And so I'm delighted to introduce you to the author of this book and the writer. And I mean, it's amazing. Poppy O'Neill, she kindly donated 90 of these books to the children that came up on the stage at the Panto. And they are beautiful. I am absolutely in love with them. So hello, Poppy, and welcome to The Big Chat.
Thank you, Coco. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Oh my God, it's so lovely to meet you. I mean, You've come from a long way this morning. Thank you.
You've come across Sussex.
You've come across Sussex from Chichester.
That's right.
But as you were just saying, you've got roots in this area, haven't you? From Wadhurst.
Yes, yeah. My mum's side of the family comes from Wadhurst, Tunbridge Wells area, yeah.
So you know it well.
I do, yes.
You do know it well.
Yes.
So, there's a few books here. How long have you been writing, Poppy?
Well, I've been writing since I was a little girl.
Yeah.
But I've been writing professionally since 2017,
wow.
Which is when I started writing my first book, You're a Star.
Is that your first book? Was that your first book?
Yeah, You're a Star and Don't Worry, Be Happy. I wrote them as a
goodness.
pair, and they came out 2018. And
wow.
they've done really well since then. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah, they were the beginning of it all. I've written a whole series. There's some more coming out in March.
Yeah.
One about anger, one about self-worth.
Wow.
So really excited for those as well.
So what was your inspiration behind these?
Well, I took anxiety and self-esteem as the sort of, they're the big ones, really, the big things that I want to say kids struggle with, but I think we all do, really.
We all do, definitely.
Yeah. So I took those two big topics, and I wanted to create books that, that I would have benefited from when I was that age, really. That my younger self is kind of my muse. And I started from that, and wanted to make them really easy to understand, really accessible, lots of activities, make them fun. I didn't want to make serious books because who wants to read those, especially when you're 7 years old? You want something that's...
because you say it's sort of 7 to 11, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
And they are, they are literally, like, you can see inside, there's so many practical exercises, which,
right.
A lot of adult self-help, self-esteem, self-worth books have these exercises. I have my own daily ritual that I do for my mental health, as many of us do. So this is brilliant, and it's a very subtle way of beautifully getting across these messages that we, unfortunately, you look much younger than me, but back in my day, it wasn't talked about. Mental health, it was not discussed at all.
No, same here. It was, if you felt sad or worried, then that was a problem. You needed to stop doing that. And and then the problem had
just
gone
get
away.
On with it. Get on with it, and just I think my father, who I just mentioned, passed away 5 years ago. He was wonderful man, but he really was very much like, well, men don't talk about their problems, and you don't need to talk about your problems, and there seems to be so much of that, and that unfortunately has unravelled through generations. I think we're breaking the patterns.
Yes, I'd like to think so. Yeah, there's been this idea that it's the talking about it that's the problem. It makes everyone uncomfortable, puts everyone on edge. And I think it's because we've got this idea that when someone expresses a difficult emotion, we have to fix it. We have to end it quickly. But actually, I could say, I'm feeling sad today, and no one has to do anything about it. I've just shared it. Yeah. And actually, when you share it and you take away that sort of power, what if anyone knows that I'm sad or worried or overwhelmed or whatever it might be, then a lot of the tension and the difficultness of that emotion just sort of melts away.
I could not agree more. I'm part of an amazing fellowship now where talking is the key basis, talking to each other, and it just takes the power away. It literally diffuses the power, because if you can talk to other people and they're like, oh wow, you feel like that as well, and especially with children, because children are put under so much pressure to get on, to do this, to do that. They've had obviously the pandemic that they've gone through, all of these great things that have got after, there's the PTSD from the aftershock of that. These books are invaluable, I think. It's a really worthy cause that you write these books. It's brilliant that you get to make a living out of something that you love.
I feel so lucky to be an author. It was my dream job from when I was very small.
Really? So when did you decide, when did you think, oh my God, I'm going to be an author?
I want to say about 6 years old. I remember I was writing stories at school, and the teachers would just make such a fuss. And
really?
And you're that age and you find the thing that the adults go wild for.
That's so funny, because I did a podcast last week with a friend of mine, Antonia Blythe, who's a Hollywood journalist, and she asked me 3 questions, and one of the questions was who inspired me the most, and it was my English teacher at school, because she liked the way I wrote.
Amazing.
And we were going to talk about Ticehurst, because you sadly lost a grandparent in Ticehurst.
Yes, my grandma lived in Ticehurst
5 years ago.
Yeah.
My grandma Kit lived in Ticehurst.
No way.
And she actually entered me for a writing competition when I was about 6, and I won.
Oh,
and I can remember it being one of my biggest things that I remember, that and my English teacher. It's interesting, isn't it?
So inspiring.
Because they saw something in me that, I don't write now, I talk. That's how I communicate. It's all communication. But it's an amazing thing to be able to do something that you love, and to be able to help other people as well. Yeah. Which your books really do.
Oh, yeah. I hear all the time feedback from kids, from teachers, from therapists who use them. And it's such a privilege. And it was funny you bring up my Ticehurst grandmother. Her name was Sally, and she was my big inspiration. She was an editor. Her and her friend would they'd travel around the world writing books, writing non-fiction books, and her friend would write and she would edit, and I thought, wow, that's the dream. Sounds like such a lovely love.
She was her inspiration.
Yeah,
and her name was Sally.
Yes, Sally, that's right.
Oh, that's rather amazing. I literally was in Ticehurst last week putting flowers on my grandma Kit's stone, because she had a house that backs onto the cemetery there.
I see.
And and literally, she was my great inspiration. So that's rather interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, what a coincidence.
Yeah,
grandmother power.
I know, grandmother power. Well, they say, don't they, you have a grandparent that kind of watches over you. And she's definitely given me a kick up the booty a couple of times. My grandma, she was quite fierce. She raced racing cars as well from a very early age.
What a legend.
I know, and I've now got a soapbox. I mean, I don't know. She didn't look after me in that one. I smashed my face up, but that's another story. So tell me about some of these other books. So you've got You're a Star.
Yes.
Oh my God, look, I love this. I want this book.
You are awesome.
I am awesome. I mean, I am awesome. But seriously, I mean, I love the colours. Are you involved in all of this creative process?
I am.
Do you work with an illustrator?
Yes, I have done with these two books. So these ones are new from Colin's Big Cat.
Yeah.
I came out, we're recording this in January.
Yeah.
They came out yesterday, actually.
Wow.
So they're Learn to Read books from their new
So the date they'll be out will be?
It was the 9th of January.
The 9th of January. So this will be out after these are out.
Yes.
You'll be able to get these now. Go on and get them. Where can they get them?
Amazon, yeah.
Amazon, amazing. So it's Colin's Big Cat. I love that. I love this purple lion. I think he's amazing. And this is... What's her name?
Lynn Nguyen.
And I mean, they're beautiful.
Yes, I think the illustrations for that one are particularly beautiful. Yeah, I based this one off of a guided meditation. I wanted to make a book that was like a guided meditation. So it takes you through all your senses, and it's got gorgeous illustrations all the way through.
Oh my goodness me! And you've got all this glossary, anxiety, the feeling of worry or fear of nervousness, attention, your mind's. This is beautifully way of breaking it down for children, because I was a yoga teacher for many years, and I did baby yoga as well. Like when women were pregnant, including myself, I was teaching till I was 8 months pregnant, and it's just such a gift, isn't it, when you can give something back to someone and it's something you love and passionate about. I mean, you must put so much of yourself into these books.
I do, yeah. They're a real labour of love, and it's so gratifying and such a privilege to see people enjoying them and getting stuff out of them. And
how long does it take you to write a book? It must vary.
Yeah, it varies. Some are obviously shorter than others. I would say about a month. Around other.
That's impressive.
I mean, I'm not writing.
It takes me about a month to I don't know, get my hair done sometimes.
I mean, they're not 80,000 word novels, but
still, I think a month's pretty good, Poppy. Give yourself a pat on the back there.
I will.
Yeah, well done. A month's pretty good. But your publishers love you. They're like, not like 2 years in the wings. When's it coming?
I'm not
2
a
years.
Torture genius like that.
I know a few authors like that, and a few agents that are like, when's it coming? It's coming. But these are amazing. So you've got, and I Am Awesome. So this is so what with this one, what inspired you with this one?
That's another self-esteem based book.
It matches my mug.
It does. It's meant to be.
It's just like meant to be.
It's really sort of accessible, easy to digest guide to what self-esteem is. How we think about ourselves and how it's possible to change how you think about yourself. It's not easy. It's not always simple, but it is possible, and our minds are, we're capable of, our self-esteem can go down and we can feel worse about ourselves, but we can also feel better about ourselves, and it can go up and down throughout the day. And I really think understanding how our minds work is sort of the most important, biggest step towards exercising some of that power and increasing our well-being.
And it is literally, your brain is a machine. It is there to keep you alive.
Absolutely.
And it will do whatever it thinks it needs to do to keep you alive. And it's not always the right thing.
No, and it's not that bothered about making you happy.
No, it's not, your soul, yes, but your brain and your feelings and and it's also that thing of emotions and feelings that I think especially with children, especially with myself as a young child, I had a very hard upbringing, and I tried to take my own life twice when I was young. Yeah. And when I was about 13 and 15, I tried, and fortunately or unfortunately for some, I'm still here. But but I was really in a dark place, and just but I think mine was a cry for help. It was a real cry for help. And because you just don't know what to do with when you're young, those feelings are so fully consuming. You think they are everything.
Absolutely. You think that they are
that is
the
the
truth,
world,
the reality. Yes. Yeah.
And your age behind you, when you're an old goose like me at 47, you realise that what happens today might not be what happens tomorrow. But to a young person, it is all consuming.
Absolutely. And those teenage years,
they're vital.
Everything is changing. Your brain is changing. Your body is changing. Everyone around you seems to have it all worked out and looks 100 times cooler than you. And it's so hard. It is.
And you're right. And isn't it true that, and you probably know more about this than I do, maybe, but isn't it true that you're not fully developed as an adult till you're 21?
I think it's 25.
Is it 25?
In terms of your brain, yes.
My God.
Your brain is still
no wonder I was a mess.
Developing. Yeah, we all were.
Really?
Yeah, I believe that's
wow.
Yeah, that's the age when your brain becomes an adult. And we can do, it's 16, you can do pretty much everything, can't you? 18,
you can.
You're technically an adult.
Yes.
Yeah, making decisions.
Big decisions.
The way that we ask sort of 14-year-olds to decide their GCSEs, and we make them think, oh, yes, and this will decide your whole life. And it's a lot of pressure, and I feel like we could take the pressure off.
I think so too. I really agree with that, because especially like that with career choices, I've got a couple of friends with children who have gone into university and actually left because they felt the pressure was too much, and now they're putting enormous pressure on themselves because they're like, oh, but whatever job I got has got to be the one forever. And it's like, no, it doesn't. My first job was working for Karen Millen hairdressers. That was my Saturday job. I'm so rubbish at doing my own hair. You would not believe. I know it looks glorious, but honestly, I can't. You don't know where you end up going, and you use all these skills that you get along life's journey, and they come together, I feel. But of course, when you're a young person, you don't know that, and you think you know it all. Yeah, because we've all been there. I thought I knew everything when I was 13.
Same here. Yeah,
that's the way the world works, isn't it? It's kind of backwards, forwards.
Yeah, so a spiral.
Yeah, it really is. So this one, I like the sound of this one.
Yes, this is my
Mother
new
Power.
one, Mother Power. Yes.
God, I need a bit of this. Talk to me about this, Poppy.
Mother Power. I'm so excited for this one. It's out in February.
Oh my
February
God, is it really?
Yeah. So it's aimed at mothers. A feminist guide to motherhood.
I love this.
It's a beautiful cover, isn't it? And it's all about looking after ourselves. I think as mothers, as women, we kind of expected and encouraged and praised to put others before us. And when we have kids, it's kind of, you have to put your kids before yourself.
I love the cover. I love it. Trust your gut, look after you, drop the guilt, stop comparing yourself. Word up to the mother. That's all I'm going to say about that. That is, I'm going to talk to you later about some mum, the strong female lead who would be amazing, and to connect you with them.
Sounds great.
And I might see if you're available for something, because that would fit in very well with your promotion of your book. And this is a very important subject. We had beautiful, I'm actually, proud to be one of their ambassadors, Sophie from Bod and Ted, who's a local clothing brand. And she was saying that one of her biggest struggles having a business is being a mother as well. Because, I have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old, and it is that thing, you just drop the guilt. That's the one that resonates with me. Yeah. I'm like, I guilt trip myself every single day. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? Am I working? Should I be working? Should I be at home? Should I not be at home? It's ridiculous. And I'm sure from the outside, my life looks shiny and glossy, and everyone thinks, oh, she's having a lovely old time. And it's it's not like that.
It's so hard. And there's a quote in the book that whoever said it first, the name has escaped me, but it's that we are expected to parent like we don't have a job and go to work like we don't have kids.
And it's so true.
And both of things are full-time jobs, and you can't do 2 full-time jobs because they take up all of your time.
They do.
So yeah, mother power is obviously, I cannot fix the way that society is right now and the way that we have to make money to live and pay the bills and everything. But it is about how you think about yourself, how you think about your needs and your wants.
Yeah.
And basically building up mother's self-esteem is my aim with mother power.
This is, I mean, look, electricity bolts, mother power, bring it on. That's what I say. That is amazing. Am I going to get to keep this? Please.
Yeah, go on.
I mean, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. As long as you sign it.
I will sign it.
I do like a signed book. And this one we've got, so this is bedtime worry journal.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I like this. So I do my gratitude list I do my gratitude list at the end of the day. So some people do it at the beginning of the day. I started off doing mine at the beginning of the day. Sometimes I do half in the morning, half in the evening, but generally I do it at the end of the day. But I have been sort of playing around with it in my mind, because it's kind of, when you first wake up, you think about, I think about things that I'm grateful for. Fortunately, I took a lot of things out of my life that weren't serving me for about 6 months ago. So I've got a much clearer way of looking at things. But one of them is writing down a gratitude list every day.
It's so helpful.
This is interesting, a bedtime worry journal, because it is kind of, I also trained in hypnotherapy, and I'm not qualified. I'm not saying I'm qualified. I'm an NLP coach, but I'm not a qualified hypnotherapist, but I would like to do it, because what fascinated me about the hypnotherapy was or hypnosis is the worry bucket, the stress bucket. Because you literally, if you don't empty your stress bucket at the end of each day, which through meditation we know can help, you will go to sleep and it will overflow, and you will wake up with more anxiety in the morning. You'll have, that's your REM sleep. Your REM sleep is what empties out your worry bucket. So I would say a bedtime worry journal is a great way to empty out your worry bucket.
Totally. And I mean, I created it for kids, but I do it myself.
That's brilliant.
Basically, it's a very simple journal. There's lots of the same pages. And it is about, there's a gratitude space. So what was good today? What was hard today?
That's beautiful.
And what would you like to dream about tonight is one of the prompts in there every evening. And it's designed to do, before you go to sleep, empty out your worry bucket, as you say.
I love that. So honestly, it's amazing. And also I do, I know I keep going on about the colours, but I am a very visual person, and I just love the way that the colours sort of match with the themes of what you're doing. There's a lot of thought has gone into this, I can see. A hell of a lot of thought. And do you go into schools with these books?
I do, yeah.
Because I'd imagine they'd love them.
Yeah. I did the Chichester Children's Book Festival in October last year. That was lovely. I got to visit some local schools and talk about my books, and everyone, because it was part of the festival, all the kids got a copy of the book as well. So it's a real privilege to be able to go into schools to talk to kids one-to-one. It's
That's amazing. I mean, we have a Fringe Festival here in July, so I'm sure Debbie King would be interested to talk to you. Okay. So I'll hook you guys up, because that would be amazing, because I mean, these really are beautiful. And I think more of this, because it's funny, because some people, they're a bit like, I don't want to give my child that, because if I give my child that, I'm saying they've got a problem.
Yes, I think.
Well, that's projection. Sorry to tell you, but that is projection.
Yeah, I think I really, when I first started writing these books, I really didn't want to create a book that felt at all
like a
clinical. Or like you've got a problem, here's a book to solve it. It was I come from the perspective of everyone has self-esteem. It's just somewhere
Absolutely.
on any given day.
Absolutely.
Everyone feels anxiety. It's part of being a human. I've written the monster books, as I call them, on
I love these.
All different topics. There's one about shyness, one about bravery, one about being yourself. I've covered.
It's really brilliant. It's really brilliant. I mean, the Annabelle Nilsson ones were, I don't know if you've ever checked her out.
No, I will do
check
that.
her out. She's very good friends. Well, was very good friends with Kate Moss, and it was really, at the time there was 6 that we got out there and sort of publicised, but they were quite new at the time. When I think back now, we're going back 8 years, and it was this sort of angry me, how he felt, how he dealt with it. I'll have a look inside and see if I've got any, and I'll give you a couple to have a look, because that was what I had in mind for the panto bags, and that's how I found you, and then your amazing publicist who, I mean, do we need to mention your publicist, because she's amazing? I love her. What's her name?
Was it Anna you spoke to?
I think it was.
Or was it Jasmine?
I mean, Anna and Jasmine,
they're both.
you're both amazing.
Yeah.
Basically, as are everyone that publishes the books. And but schools as well, we used to do lots of school pop-ups, like do you do things like that, signings at schools and going to schools?
Yeah,
that's a really nice way of giving back, isn't it, to the kids?
Yeah,
because they love to meet the authors.
They do. Yeah,
you're like literally like, you wrote that book and produced it. I think it's amazing.
And remembering being a child and when an author would come to school, it's so incredible to see someone think, hang on, you're just a normal human being like me. I could do that.
Exactly.
It's
so very
powerful.
Inspiring. And so your book, so this Mother Power, I mean, I can't wait for this February month. This is, sorry, you're not getting it back. So I will part cash for this back, but you're not getting it back unless you need it back. But this is what I need right now. Mother Power is what I need right now. So it's staring me in the face. Will you be doing more along that theme for adults?
I hope so. Yeah.
Is that an area you'd like to sort of explore more?
Yeah, I really would. Yeah, I think that obviously there's a lot that kids can do to learn about their minds and empower themselves and feel better about themselves, feel more confident. But when you pair that with parents who are also informed and understand sort of the ways that we can help our kids with their mental health and with our own mental health, because when you are in a close relationship like parents and children are, our emotions feed off each other.
Absolutely.
Even like it's not even in our minds, it's our bodies, our nervous systems.
Absolutely.
They pick up on each other's emotions. And so when you have a parent who is what we call emotionally regulated, so calm and knows themselves and is comfortable with their own emotions and who they are, then they are so much more able to help raise a child who is similarly
it makes the child feel safe. I think that's the and the thing is, it's like an ever-going pattern, because if you have gone through any sort of childhood trauma and you haven't necessarily learnt parenting skills through no fault of anyone's parents.
No, there's absolutely no guilt.
Blame, there's no guilt.
Yeah.
But we all learn from that's how it works. And if they've not got the skills and then you've not got the skills, unless you do some work on yourself and figure it out yourself,
it's
you
hard
do
work.
project onto your children. I mean, my daughter gets incredibly stressed about being late, and I have to be really watch myself, because I get a bit panicky when I'm running late.
I'm the same,
and it rubs off on her.
Yeah,
it just rubs off on her. And this morning we had an episode where I had to literally take a deep breath in the car and just change the subject and talk about something else and just reset her, because I've noticed how she's picking up from me. She lives with me, and if she's got a neurotic mother running around, I mean, I'm not a neurotic mother, but she's much more settled when I'm calm, because she feels safe. And
absolutely,
when you're a child, that's what you need. You need to feel safe.
Yeah, and as we were saying earlier about our brains are designed to keep
us safe.
Yeah, and so when we feel safe, we've got the space in our brains aren't thinking, oh, how do we get to safety?
Yeah.
What do I do to fix this to make it safe? Only then do we have the space and the ability to whatever we like.
Yeah, exactly.
Pursue happiness.
And also children are isolating themselves more now, because they are, with social media, with gaming. My 13-year-old son would game all day long if he could. He's got other passions, thank goodness, and he lives with his father during the week, who's an amazing dad. So he's very grounded, but he isolates himself a lot. And again, my daughter, she'll happily go into a room and isolate herself. And But she does read and she does write, and she already writes some of these things down, which is interesting. And it's lovely that to have something that you do daily ritual, because once it becomes a habit, it doesn't take that long to form a habit. It's Is it 7 days or 3 weeks? That's quite a big difference.
Yeah,
7 days or 3
I feel
weeks.
like 3 weeks.
I think it's 3 weeks.
I'm not
But once
sure,
you've done that, once you've created a habit and an imprint on your brain, then it just becomes, you notice when you don't do it.
Yes.
You really notice when you don't do it. So something like your, certainly this bedtime worry journal. I mean, I'd do that. I would do that.
I do it.
Because that's just like, that's genius. And that actually in the morning, maybe I'll do my gratitude list in the morning, because I'll wake up with my empty worry tank and think about all. And when you wake up with gratitude, I did a meditation on gratitude this morning. And actually, it sets you up so much better for the day.
Yes, definitely.
It's you really can reset your day if you keep it in the day. I find.
Well, it's like you were saying with your daughter in the car, she was getting anxious about being late, and you take a deep breath, you change the subject. You can do that with yourself when you notice yourself getting carried away.
Yes.
Take a deep breath, and whatever version of changing the subject, whether that's a meditation, go out and have some sunlight, whatever it is, to change the subject with yourself.
So what do you love doing? What else do you love doing, Poppy, other than writing, obviously?
I do a lot of writing. I love Pilates.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I go. I try and go every week. I've got a wonderful Pilates teacher in Chichester, Andrea. Wow. I love to go to the beach. We're quite near the sea in Chichester. I love tarot. I'm really into tarot.
Are you?
Yeah. Really interested in sort of the symbolism and I always like to link it back to emotions and mental health as well.
I pull a card every morning.
Oh, do you? It's
every morning I pull a card. I've got my own little system now where I pull a card and okay, that's what that was. Okay, that's how that's going to be. I think tarot is amazing as well.
And a way to connect with our own intuition. It's a really amazing tool.
It is, and because also with children as well, it's like everyone talks about your second brain is your gut. I was, before I sort of embarked on my own personal journey the last 6 months, I was totally disconnected with my gut and my instincts and my intuition, and I am a very intuitive person. And I can do it for other people, and I can coach till the cows come home, and I can tell people, this is great, but me and I was not connecting. And I think the sooner we get children to connect that with what they feel is right and wrong, and good imprints, that, it sounds cheesy, but the better the world will be, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because that's half the problem. There's a lot of people walking around there that don't really know themselves and don't actually know the damage they're doing. Yeah. It's not deliberate.
No, absolutely. And like we were saying earlier about a child expresses a feeling and the sort of cultural impulse is to say, don't be sad, don't be worried. And that is a way that we chip away at children's and everyone's connection with their own, with their gut, with their emotions, with their knowledge of their self. If you say, I'm sad, and then the person that you're closest to or your teacher or whoever says, no, you're not, then you think, hang on,
gaslighting.
I'm not. Okay.
We don't mean to do it, but we gaslight people's feelings. We're like, no, you're not sad, or you shouldn't feel like that. It's like, you're allowed to feel like that. Feel it, because actually, once you feel it, you go through it and you pass it. Yeah, and you realise it's not that big of a deal. It's like, I felt really sad yesterday, but today I feel really happy. Yeah. So next time you feel sad, maybe you won't feel so sad because you're not a pass. Yeah,
there's this study that's been done. I'm not sure how they worked it out, but that if you just let an emotion happen, feel it as big as it wants to be, it only lasts 90 seconds.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
But stuffing it down,
God, that's really
it could,
interesting.
Depending on what it is, it could stay with you for a week, a year.
It's like there's a great Pickering Cancer Drop-In Centre who we support quite heavily around here, and Polly, who's the president now of Pickering Cancer Drop-In Centre. I always remember with her, she came on very early onto one of mine, and I was very emotional and crying, and I'd always try and hold back my tears, and she was like, you mustn't hold back the tears, that is the body's way of getting the emotion out. It literally is like almost like a physiological way
overflowing.
And it literally is, those tears come out and you let it out and then it passes. That's really interesting, because how many of us just like, you know, put on a brave face and suppress it and then I'll go and have a glass of wine at the end of the night and that'll make things better. And you know, that certainly didn't work for me. But it's just all these different things that we choose to do. The earlier we can get in and teach this stuff, the better, I think, for the whole bloody planet, quite frankly.
Definitely.
You know, I think it's amazing when I found you, it was literally that was, you know, that was the universe sending you.
Oh,
it was.
I'm glad the universe sent me to you.
Yeah, honestly, it's absolutely amazing. I think there's loads we can do with you, and they are just absolutely stunning books. So if people want to find out more about you, Poppy, where do they go? Where's your website?
My website is poppyo'neill.com.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram at Poppy O'Neill Books.
Yeah.
And you can find all my books on Amazon.
They can all be found on
They
Amazon.
Can. You can find everything.
You could get one today and
you
get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's
or in bookshops.
Or
you could
in
have
bookshops.
It today.
Do you have them? Are you in bookshops
yeah,
as well?
Yeah.
That's lovely. That's really nice. So for independents, can they reach out to you as well and say, we'd love to stock your books and get in touch with your publisher?
Yeah,
and things like that? Is that the best way to do it?
Yeah.
Because I can see these, you know, as there's a few places that I've mentioned about these actually, and there's a little project I'm working on myself, which I'd quite like to speak to you about at some point. So, but this Mother Power is, that's a sign. Yeah. I mean, look, it's kind of just going, it's just there, it's there. Mother Power. But thank you again for your kind donation from myself and from Tom Swift and all at Wicked Productions, because the children absolutely love their goodie bags, and to have a book like that in there is really very special. So thank you, because that means there's 90 beautiful children around the area doing these lovely exercises and feeling like a star, which is what we want kids to feel like at the end of the day, isn't it? So thank you so much for coming on, Poppy.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for
It's
having
been lovely
me.
to talk to you, and we're friends now. That's it. So we will be keeping in touch.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, thanks, and go and have a good day and a safe drive back to Chichester.
Thank you.
Thanks, Poppy. Bye.